Good evening, Somerville, and welcome to Eastern and Western Massage. I have with me somebody that you've always seen me with, Michael Karan, who runs a show out of Cambridge Television on Sundays. Is that right, Michael? So Michael is coming to us tonight with trouble using his voice. He's hoarse. How long has it been, Michael? About 3 months, would you say?
About
13 months. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be working with Michael on the Eastern medicine side. So there's going to be a lot of energetic work and point work. So let's begin. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ground Michael. And this is really a pretty good technique for if you have headaches as well. I'm going to take the top of his leg here, and I'm going to angle that off to the edge of his leg. And if you're really, really sensitive and lucky, you're either going to feel, or I'm going to either feel kind of a wire or a well. And what I feel with Michael is a well, which means that there's a deficiency in his stomach channel, which is earth. So this is probably a really good time to be doing this work because we're just about to come into earth season. So I'm slowly working right outside this bone here. You're going to feel a well right next to that bone.
What does it mean to feel a well?
Now I am going to move this a bit so you can see Michael's foot, and I'm going to stick my thumb right in that little well at the base of his ankle, very gently. You do not want to really force any of this. You could hurt your thumb. So a nice soft pressure. And Michael asked me what it meant to have a well. It means you're human. Everyone has a well there, and right next to that well is another muscle. And that's what I'm going to take care of next. So I've calmed that channel down, that stomach channel, which goes right into the throat.
Wow.
And now I'm going to use my fingers to feel for this nice wiry thing. Can you feel that wire, Michael, at all?
Yeah.
Yes, Michael says yes, you can feel that wiry thing. That's a stomach channel. And when you're doing massage, you really don't want to hunch much. I actually am almost totally straight. And notice that I'm pressing. I've got this nice little rhythm going with my body. And as I press, I'm not just pressing without paying attention. You want to be present with the press to make sure that you're not giving too much. Now Michael has a tight spot here. So rather than push into resistance, I'm going to ease my thumb up a bit and kind of retrain that muscle. I'm going into what they call the cow's eyes just below the knee with both fingers. And I don't know if it's coming across on your television, but you can see how very soft and very sensing this hand is. I want to feel anything happening over here and stop anything from happening here to stop it from going up. Stomach channel really should run down. Okay, so you look for that well, and right next to that well is again that kind of stringy, wiry feel, or it should be, and it's a little deficient, which means I'm not really getting that wire, but here it comes. And if you go over it again, nice and quick, give it a little fire, can coax it to come up. Because meridians or channels are very much like people. Sometimes you have to coax them to react. And sometimes they say, get the heck out of here, I don't want to do anything today, so you just have to kind of let it be. All right, going back into that funky little well, the front of the foot there. Again, you don't want to press hard into this. Michael didn't come to me with an ankle issue, so I'm not going to manipulate that too much. And then the webbing between the second and third toe. I'm just going to give that a nice little rub. Now here's a disclaimer. If you're working or you have a spouse or something that is pregnant, you really don't want to give a lot of pressure to the feet. And nice. I'm going to hit the very edge of that nail and hold it. And if you don't have a camera on Michael's stomach, but if you did, you'd see that his stomach is actually rising and falling now. Very deep breathing. And these are things you want to look out for when you're massaging. You should look out for it all the time. See what the responses are. So I've worked the stomach channel. Now I'm going to go into the spleen channel. The stomach and spleen are both earth elements. And late August is stomach and spleen or earth. We're just coming out of fire, which is heart and small intestine. And then you have two curious organs. They're always asking questions. Oh no, I mean, they're not really organs. That's why they call them curious organs. All right, I'm going to go down the side of this foot, and I'm going to take this off so you can see that I'm going right down. Let's see if I can't get a better view for you. Here we go. Right down the edge of this bone, very softly here. And again, I'm looking. Be very gentle with this channel. If you find something hard, you just want to loosen up the fingers and kind of tell those muscles. You don't want to be like that, you want to be like this. Right at the base of the nail there. So right about now, Michael is pretty relaxed. I can feel it from here. And he's also got a little saliva accumulating in the mouth. Michael, am I right or wrong?
Sure.
Sure. I like sure. Sure works for me.
Now that foot is just getting better, so maybe not to work on it, if you wouldn't mind. Is that possible?
Sure.
Okay.
Or I could be very, very gentle with it.
Very gentle.
Yes, I will be very gentle with it. And I'm going to, I know I'm messing up camera angles here. And right down that stomach line again.
That's really really super careful.
And what I found is some very cold spots by the knee.
Yeah.
Also, this bicep femoris is very, very tight. So on the front of the leg, you actually have two large muscles, and I'm sure you know them very well. You probably have strained them, or you can just see them if you're somewhat muscular, or feel them for yourself. And I'm right in those two eyes. And Michael is now making some sounds with his throat. So you have to watch and listen for all that stuff. All right, I'm going to finish the stomach channel, and then I'm going to address Michael's knee while I'm here. I'm going to be very gentle with this foot. All right. I'm going to run this right down that stomach channel. And again, you see this nice little rhythm I got going. Okay, so I just pushed on a spot and it pushed back. So I know that that spot needs more attention. If it didn't pass through, it passed through. And the nice thing, what I'm doing with Michael right now is called Zen Shiatsu. And there are different styles of Shiatsu. But this one is really, really nice because, in my opinion, it's the most like massage that Americans know. You're actually sort of massaging the entire channel. I'm just going to quickly run down this channel here. And into the well of that calf. I'm just going to press the heel of my hand, go around that ankle, and right into the side of the foot. All right, let's get back to that knee. Now, I'm going to go to the inside of Michael's thigh here. And I'm just gonna, you'll find this really, really thick tendon. And I'm just gonna get underneath that tendon with these knuckles and kind of strum that tendon. You've got to watch your partner because this is often really, really tight. Pardon me, often really, really tight. Now, I'm going to go right to this bone here. I'm just going to rub with the heel of my hand all the way down. Go to this funky little well. Now, in the center of where the ankle is, you've got this really big well. Right next to it is another little well. It's like between two tendons. I'm going to press into that. That's the liver channel. And bring it down. Now, generally, when somebody has knee pain, I go for a spot called liver 9. And I'm going to uncover Michael for this. I find the knee. You'll find that big bump. And when you go right underneath it, it's usually pretty tender on most people. And while I'm working on that, I'm also tapping into his stomach channel on the other side. And you can see that his breathing has changed. It's usually pretty intense. And I'm not pressing that hard. But that should get some of the blood and fluids to start to get into that knee. Now I'm going to look at the attachments of the bicep into the knee. And I'm feeling around. And I've got this really nasty tendon that I'm just going to strum across. Just to get some movement in there. And his breathing has changed again. I'm going to go for his stomach channel and his spleen channel. So stomach with thumb and spleen with the inside of this. So you can hit two channels at the same time. And I'm really feeling some serious tension just at the knee. So rather than strum or push down or be aggressive with it, I'm going to make nice. I'm good at making nice. And I can actually feel a pretty substantial temperature change. And the muscle's starting to go down a bit. So it's almost like you're taking a small child that's in shock, and you don't grab that child and hold them hard. You hold them softly and gently so they know that they're safe. And with your compassion and your softness, kind of let that pre-mead into the channel. Okay, there you go. But it is pretty cold. I don't know how long Michael has been suffering with this. But clearly there hasn't been fluids moving in this area for some time. It's interesting to talk to you out there and do the work at the same time. I've got to split my my attention. Michael, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Have you been eating cold, anything cold, or drinking anything cold frequently lately?
Right.
Okay. What's that been?
Homemade soy milk
Homemade soy milk. Okay.
with ice cream.
Oh, okay. Well, the stomach does not like cold. But it is hot. I mean, the one exception is when it's really hot. But I would ask you to at least have a cup of tea or something at night to bring some warmth to that stomach. All right, and that's nice and warm now. So he also has a little bit of edema, which is swelling around the knee. And just using those few points, it's actually gone down a bit. It feels more like a knee now. I'm just looking for any more tight spots. And the swelling in the cow's eyes has gone down. And I'm just going to run that stomach and liver channel, looking for any bumps. Now this liver channel, this big bone here on the inside, some people have a succession of bumps, and that's considered phlegm in Chinese medicine. Michael does not have that. Very nice liver channel, Michael. You must eat well.
Yes.
All right. So I can actually feel more bone now, so we've moved some of that fluid around a bit. And I'm going to scoot around here. Pardon me while I grab my wire. And go to work. Now this technique is called ampuku in Japanese. It's a visceral massage. So through the skin I can actually, and Michael has a shirt, so I'm going to just go here. And you can do this right over the body, or right over the shirt. I'm actually going to go in and look for his intestines. And I'm going to just give that a nice little circular motion. And you can feel it, it's just one big tube. If somebody's eaten, you have to be very, very gentle. And if they've eaten, you're going to feel like this is full of stuff. I'm just going to do one round and then bring it back around. Now Michael's stomach is located to the left side of his chest. And I'm going to go underneath and actually tap into that stomach organ. So I'd like you to relax as best you can. I'm not going to go in very quickly, otherwise you won't let me in, but I am going to start to press into that area. And just focus on your exhale. Yeah, I'm not going to fight your breath. And I'm in. I can actually feel his stomach, and I'm literally giving his stomach a massage. I'm going right below his belly button to bring that energy back down. A little rumble to get his mind to go there. Oftentimes, people's mind, we live in our heads. And I actually had a Tai Chi student who said to me they didn't realize they had legs till they came to work with me. And this was a woman in her 30s. Could you imagine not realizing you have legs?
Yes.
Okay, so when I put my hand on Michael's lower tummy, or what they call the dantian, it was kind of empty, it really wasn't moving very much, and now it feels like a tire. It's nice and firm, it has some give, lovely. So now I'm going to come around, watching my wire, and I'm going to go to Michael's head and throat. Okay. So I like to work with cloth over the skin, and you're supposed to in shiatsu. It just prevents sticking. It kind of takes the place of oil, where you use oil for glide, and you kind of use the cloth. And Michael just opened his mouth, and this is actually quite tight in here. And now we've got some saliva flowing now. Now, when you're working in this area, you know, you're going to look for the empty spaces, but you're going to be very, very gentle. Don't go slamming in there. People don't like that. So I'm working his large intestine channel, which is...
What's it mean that there's something very sore there?
Oh,
Ouch, hurts.
well, as I said, this is your large intestine channel.
Oh.
And when you're working with Chinese medicine, it's not just the muscles. We really look at the whole body as an organism, and emotional and spiritual ailments will manifest in the body. And Michael just asked me, what's it mean that his
right over there, yes.
Right, that his large intestine channel is not happy or achy. And Michael has told me that this actually began when his girlfriend moved out. And part of that function of the large intestine is to assimilate and eliminate, which means to take in experiences, kind of digest them, and then let them go, which, I mean, right? You eat, you digest it, you let it go. But in this society, oftentimes, we hold on to our things. You know, we don't want to stop being angry at this person, or you know, we don't want to change our ways, and we're not meant to be that way.
So there's a pain in there.
Yeah. So tell me about the pain, Michael. Let me ask you some questions about it.
Yeah.
Is it sharp?
Yes.
Is it cold or hot?
If I had to pick, I would say hot.
Okay. So it's a hot, sharp pain.
Yes.
Okay.
Ouch. I never knew I had it.
Well, I think we might have found at least part of the cause of your inability to speak without a hoarse voice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear that. I can hear your voice already changing.
Huh?
It's a little stronger now.
Yeah, there's some pain in there too.
Yeah. I had a martial arts student who said to me, "How is it that you know all the places that hurt?" And then I said, "Well, I'm a massage therapist. I get to touch the places that hurt, and they're pretty much the same on everybody." All right, so this was really, really elevated, really agitated. It actually felt like a wire. And there's some edema in here as well.
Oh.
So I'm going to go right to that strip of the edge of the strip of the scalenes, and I'm just going to give it a nice press down, a very soft press. And I feel some edema right on the left side here. We're just gonna, now I'm not gonna force that out. You don't wanna squeeze it. This is not what Zen Shiatsu is about. It's really more like working with a trigger point where you find where it's uncomfortable for the person, you stop there, let the warmth of your hand change the atmosphere, and you continue going deep. I'm going to go right to the Adam's apple now, and I'm going to press the skin down, going into the collarbone a bit. Now I'm going to go for his kidney points right at the edge of the collarbone, because the kidneys and the lungs work together. And you can, I believe the camera just caught him taking a nice deep breath.
So this is strong, but it feels good.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's why when people say, I don't want it to be too strong, oftentimes I'll say, well, if it's strong and you don't like it, I'll stop.
Right.
I'm going to go right down Michael's nipple line, pardon the intrusion, right into his stomach channel, bring it out to the sides to complete that stomach channel, right into the horse's, or the cow's eyes, and then stomach and spleen at the same time. Now, what's important about this, and I'm just going to do a general pat on the feet, what's important about this is not just the pressure and that you're sensing the whole time, but also that his mind follows the movement, which is why you kind of want to go at an even pace. It's easier for the mind to follow that movement. All right? I'm just going to give his lung 1 and 2 a little rub here because we have another person for our table. Just to make sure that the lungs are touched on, in case that's where it is. And of course, he's only getting a half hour and we're on TV, so it's hard to get the full healing effect. Right into that thumb, little shake. Put it where Michael's comfortable. I'm going to finish with the face, right into the stomach points. Right along the jawline. Underneath the ear, there's a little well. Separates the jaw. Very light touch there, very, very light touch. Then I'm going to send it through. Okay, Michael, would you open your eyes? Get acclimated to the room. Nice deep breath. And he doesn't look like he wants to go anywhere. But we're going to take Michael off. Take your time coming up, Michael.
Yep.
Michael, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Oh, well,
How do you feel?
let's see. It's quite an experience. I don't know, actually.
You don't know how you feel.
I mean, there's all kinds of tingling throughout my body.
Do you realize that your voice is stronger?
I didn't know that, but I can hear it. Maybe, yes.
Yes, okay. And it sounds clearer. It doesn't sound as hoarse as it did when I got you on the table.
Oh, good.
Okay. All right, well, let's come on up.
Oh, see.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't matter how aggressive the session is, a person's always going to get up a little dizzy, so you let them take their time, don't rush them, let them acclimate. And generally, you want to give them a cup of water, and my good friend Sue actually brought 2 cups of water, so if you would take that, and that just brings the mind to the tummy so that they can move around a bit without having everything in their head.
So shall I get up now?
Yes, please, and I'll take that.
Oh, good. Thank you.
How's that knee feel? All right, now I'd like to bring up, as soon as Michael, now I'd like to bring up my friend Sylvia Lessa. Sylvia is also a licensed massage therapist with her own practice called Intuitive Massage, isn't that right?
No, actually, I just changed it to listen to your body.
Listen to your body. I like it. Sounds like a new song.
And I also do life coaching.
And she also does life coaching. Please face up,
Face up.
please.
Hopefully this thing maybe needs to move this way.
Now I'm going to use the other side of this blanket. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay. Of course, using no oil makes this a lot easier, because when you're using oil, of course, you have to change the sheets. Well, if you're concerned with your client's hygiene anyway,
It's kind of important.
it's kind of important.
It's a rule.
Okay, so Sylvia, may I discuss your case a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. Sylvia was given some herbs to cleanse, or some things to cleanse her body of impurities, and she had a little bit of an adverse effect. And I think that's all they need to know.
A very severe adverse effect.
A severe adverse effect. It almost looks like shingles.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I am going to work on the lungs and large intestine, because the skin is associated with the lungs. And that's going to be my first line of business. I'm also going to work her liver just to get some blood flowing, and her spleen to get some white blood cells moving. So, in Zen Shiatsu, you always start with that stomach channel. You always want to ground the person. And again, you want to pay attention to your client or to your partner. If you see them or feel them wince or tense up, you're going too hard. And some people cannot close their eyes, but at some point you're going to hit a spot where they will. And of course, it does not help that we have such bright lights here. Now, you see Sylvia just gave a little coo, and I just found a very, very cold spot on her stomach channel. So I found that cold spot, and she reacted with this comfy little, oh, that's home, feels good feeling. And when you work the stomach channel, or for instance, I also do a combination of yoga and qigong. I call it yochi gagong. And each season we work on stretches and movements associated with each season. So you'll see me stare off into nowhere every so often. What I'm doing is I'm sensing. I'm trying to get a feel for whether it's hot, it's cold. Also, how it makes me feel. So we've grounded her on one side, going for that spleen channel. Now, if you've ever done ballet, when they pick up their front foot, they always turn that foot out a little bit. If you click it, if you turn your foot out, you're going to feel a little bit of a click. That muscle closest to the top of your leg is the spleen channel. It's a well. This is where you want to find that well. All right, so I'm going to take my thumb and actually pull at that muscle a little bit. So I'm switching over to a little bit of Tui Na, which means seizing and grasping. Zen Shiatsu is a Japanese construction. Tui Na is a Chinese construction. And I hear tell that deep tissue actually came from Tui Na. Go figure. So I'm sticking my fingers.
Nothing's original.
I know, right? Everything old is new again. So I'm going very softly into that well, right off to the side of that bone. And there's always going to be a well there. If you find, she's got a nice clean spleen channel. So it's a well the whole way through. Now if I find a lump or a bump of any sort on the way through here, there are a few questions I'm going to want to ask, like when was your last menstruation? What color was it? Is there a history of fibroids? You know, you start to go into the diagnostic questions. You want to find out whether or not one thing or another is happening so you can finish the diagnostic. Oh, and I do want to stimulate some blood. So I'm going right, once again, I'm looking for that nice big tendon. With this part, I call it a tiger's paw. Ah, yeah.
It's really sore.
Now you see, Michael didn't wince, but you know, I went too hard for her. So I'm going to ease up, and I can feel that melting slowly right under my knuckles. And her eyes are starting to go. Now the liver doesn't like to work, or doesn't like for you to work past 8 o'clock. At about 8 o'clock, all the blood starts to come back to the liver. So if you're thinking or working or reading or any of that stuff at 8 o'clock and past that, you are not allowing that blood to go back to the liver to be replenished. And in this society, that's about 98% of us that do that. Rubbing right alongside that bone
If
there.
you're not working, you're watching TV. If
You're right.
watching TV.
Exactly. Now, once again, she has a classic liver channel today. I do feel that it's running the wrong way a bit. And come off to the other side. And I'm going to be a little bit quicker with this because she just winced on that one, sorry. Did you ingest the, what they gave you? Was it something you had to?
Yeah, it's a tincture.
Okay.
It's a few different things,
A few different things.
which I'm not taking at the moment.
Just going to run these 2 or 3 lines really, really quickly here. Yeah, that spleen channel on this side is significantly different than on the other side. It's like, almost feels like a whole nother leg. All right, so once again, I'm going to use tween on. I'm just going to pull gently at that muscle. And notice I'm going to turn that muscle in a bit. And I'm not going to try to pinch that muscle. If it slips beneath my fingers, that's fine. I'll just pull at the skin.
That's pretty sore right there.
Yeah, pretty sore right there. And again, I'm not pinching hard. I'm just going to the point where I feel that it's resisting, and I stop there. So you have to be, I don't know. You have to be nice, but I mean more than nice. It's like holding a child or or being tender to your lover, like, you know, that kind of tenderness, that softness, that listening quality. Here we go. All the way down that spleen channel really quickly because I want to get to those lungs. Now, another interesting thing about Zen Shiatsu as opposed to other forms of Shiatsu, and I may be wrong, but this is my experience. Again, it runs the entire channel, and I can't move her too much because it has extracted. So why am I working the lungs to help the skin? Because the skin breathes. Did you know that if you get tarred and feathered, you die of asphyxiation? Not really the burns. Your skin can't breathe. Going right alongside this bone. Oop, and I found a funky spot. Now I'm going to try to get that to move by hitting another spot.
That's a chronic.
Yeah, I can feel it's really up there.
Yeah.
Wow.
This whole left side.
Yeah,
is
okay.
messed
So
up.
it's about to burn me. Feels like an electrical burn. So I gotta let go of that for a second. And her lungs just expressed. She went, and you can run this line on anybody and they will pretty much 99% of the time, they will take a nice big deep breath. Now the lungs hold grief, which is why when you're really, you know, crying hard, you start to sob. That's the lungs trying to let go of that grief. I'm going to find lung 1 and 2 between the intercostal spaces. Go right to the edge of that deltoid. Pull that deltoid away. Now here you're not looking for a well. I'm looking for a string or a wire.
Yeah, that's pretty sore.
That's pretty sore as well, she says. And I believe this is the side where it's expressing itself the most on the back, yes?
It's just
The
wrapped
other-
around.
Wrapped around the entire epigastral area.
Yeah, and I have not been able to use my left arm much because it's just too uncomfortable on this whole left side. Everything just feels weak.
So I don't know if her mic is turned on, but she says she has not been able to work that, to use that side of her body, or that side, that arm.
Or even breathe into this side so much. I've been trying to breathe into my left ribs.
Okay, so here we go. Nice rub right at the collarbone, lung 1 and 2. Go right over to where that deltoid well is. And you're gonna pull at the skin all the way down. She just expressed herself again with a sigh.
Yawn.
Is that a yawn?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's late. That doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
Right into lung 1 and 2. Into that deltoid. I'm going to turn her hand palm face up. And that's the way.
Sore, too.
Yeah, that's sore too, she says. And I'm just going to loosen that grip up a bit, and you can, allowing it to breathe through. There's actually a pebble right there. You can feel that, huh? There's a little pebble right there. Again, I'm not going to push into that. I'm going to try to get that to learn its new position. Now, you can do this with one thumb, which you'll see a lot in Shiatsu, but you know, at advanced stages, you can use any finger. Now, I've had a number of people come to me for Shiatsu and say it's the best Shiatsu they've ever had. And my explanation is because I'm integrating modalities. So anything pure probably won't do the trick. You may get lucky.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, she agrees with that. She's been doing what she does for a long time.
Well, I bill myself as a smorgasbord massage therapist. So,
Integrative health, integrative. Right, I'm going right for that lung channel. I'm just going to turn your hand out so the camera can see it. I'm going to move this away. So there it goes. Now I really want to nail this, but I'm not going to, because I know that's not going to do anything for you. It's just my summer manliness coming through. Don't worry, I'll be better in the fall.
oh, that's really sore right there.
Yeah. I'm going to move that hand a bit like so, just to get those tendons to kind of get a little massage through the movement. So I'm holding. You want to maintain the same pressure. So you don't want to do the, have a lot of pressure on one press and sometimes you'll find that the skin, the muscle, the channel will push up at you. You do not maintain that tension. You're going to back away and keep it to the same amount of pressure as you've been doing the whole time. It really, it makes for a very, in Zen Shiatsu, when you do Zen Shiatsu, it's like the image is that you're holding the person in place. You're holding them in a healing place where they can kind of heal on their own, or activates the body to do what it does.
Well, the quality of touch is really important because it allows you to relax and trust.
What she said. Again, I don't know if her mic is on, but she said the quality of touch is important because it allows you to relax and trust. All right. So, I don't know. I think we may be running out of time. But I'm going to go for her lung channel.
That's sore too.
Yeah, it's the same kind of sore, right? It's the same kind. So, this is the other thing about Zen Shiatsu, is unlike other forms of Shiatsu that work with the acupuncture chart, it actually works with the entire channel. So, apparently what happened in China is acupuncture took the lead because an emperor was cured by an acupuncturist. So, everybody took that chart because it has points and left the rest of the chart unknown, because if you're not doing acupuncture, what's the point? And yes, that was a pun. All right, so that moved through very, very nicely. I'm gonna pick this leg up so I can get into the well. There's the same quality of, see, that's the interesting thing. That's the great thing about working with another body worker when I'm doing Shiatsu. The common person really doesn't have a lot of, they don't pay attention to their own bodies. So they don't really understand the sense of, and the quality of each part of their body. Whereas a massage therapist is constantly working with their body and other people's bodies. So when I ask them, can you feel that the quality is the same, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Other people, like dancers, they have a lot of body awareness, and some athletes also.
She just took a second breath, and again, that was just running that lung channel. Now I'm going to take this off so you can see her foot. I'm going to show you where lung and large intestine points are. Right above here and right below there. I'm just going to hold those 2 points. And we're going to move on. Nope, we're going up here. Up to the arm. Pardon me while I mess with my wires. All right. Pardon me while I fix my microphone. It's all this darn moving around, you know? All right, so I'm going to give this a nice little rub at the intercostal spaces. Right. Turn her palm up. Take my thumb and go right into that. And again, I'm looking for a wire. If you fall into the well, that's another channel. That's a spleen. Finding that wire. It's very wiry. So it's interesting because you're going to find that everybody's left and right side can be significantly different. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes it feels like a whole other person. Then my thumb is starting to feel a little tingly, which means that I'm probably going to be burned. And it does look like an electrical burn when you get burned from a channel or a point. And there she goes. She just, as this released, her body reacted with a nice big inhale, a nice cleansing inhale. Sorry. Right into that forearm. And I can actually feel a couple of the points pulsing back up at me. All the way down.
Oh, it's sore.
Sore. Yeah, but she's a massage therapist, so you can pretty much presume that those forearms are going to be sore. Not to diminish the experience by any means.
Yeah. Our forearms get used a lot.
Okay. Going to go back to the other side to check another channel. Just a little bit of a double check. But intuitively, I'm hearing that I really should work her stomach channel a bit more up, and is this okay?
Yeah.
All right.
It's just up in there that's...
Okay, I'll be very gentle, very careful.
Okay.
So I'm just going to give that.
Yeah, that's really sore right by the elbow.
Really sore by the elbow. Imagine that. So sometimes your intuition is very important.
Always.
And my friends are giving me the peace sign. All right, so we checked out that stomach channel. I was absolutely right with my intuition. And you just grab the skin from below and pull it away. Pull it away. And that's the stomach channel. Right up through here. And once again, be careful who you massage, especially, pregnant women. You don't know their condition. And there's some places that you shouldn't press very hard. Okay. And this quick lung channel right in through here. Just a quick one. Sorry, but we are running out of time.
Okay.
And down we go. Going to hold on to her feet to ground her. Somerville, we're just about done here. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening. I'm hoping to make this somewhat of a series. So hopefully...